Sullivan.
Are you crazy? Do you know whose money are you stealing?
We ain't stealing that.
All right, listen up. The men we're after are professional runners. We find them, we take them as a team, and we bring them back. And above all else, we don't ever let them get into cars.
Home sweet home.
Welcome back to Talking Pictures. It's been a long time, but we're here today to talk about The Fast and the Furious 5, aka Fast 5. And tonight, the part of Lance will be played by comedian Richard Sandling.
Hello.
So welcome, Richard.
Hello, welcome.
So Fast 5 is what it was called on the front of the movie, but it's Fast and the Furious 5. And well, what did you think about it?
I thought it was brilliant. It's Fast and the Furious movie. I've only seen the first one, hadn't seen the second, third, or fourth one.
Right.
And it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievably great. But to be honest, I wouldn't believe myself if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, because
Right.
I just can't imagine the situation. Everyone's going, "You thought Fast and the Furious 5 was brilliant?" Because it's great.
Right.
I don't know. You thought it was?
Yeah, I mean, I was just absolutely stunned. You know, I mean, it kind of you hadn't seen the continuity maybe, and the continuity is a little bit confused because Vin Diesel wasn't in the second one. And then Paul Walker wasn't in the third one, and I thought, you know, when they brought all of the whole new model original parts, you know, when they brought back the the whole gang, including Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster, that did kind of mean something to me. And of course, it was a big hit. And it seemed that what happened with the fourth one, which let's face it, wasn't that great. It had a good opening scene, and it never really recovered. But it gave them, I think, the confidence to make this one. And this had a good opening scene. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. You're like, oh my God, how much shit can they throw at this movie? It was like 2 hours of, you know, barely endurable entertainment. And my brain was full, and my eyes hurt, and my ears were bleeding. And, you know, I think I came out with internal hemorrhaging.
Yeah, it was like, you know, in The Simpsons when they're watching and they get that THX 1138 logo comes on everyone's teeth and things, and everyone goes, yes! That's what it was like for 2 hours watching Fast.
But visually as well, obviously. It wasn't
just
just the
amazing.
sound.
Just sort of, there were things where you go, I just can't believe I've seen that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened.
This just went from Mission Impossible to Mission and freaking Sanity.
We stick to the plan. If you're gonna survive, stop thinking like a cop. You're in my world now. We'll do one last job, and then we disappear forever.
It's just unbelievable. And it does. It literally starts and doesn't let up for about 2.5 hours of just carnage and nonsense.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But also, I think we're saying that you'll know within 2 minutes, I think, whether you're going to enjoy the film or not. Because it starts off, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who's watching it, but there's a stunt with a bus in right at the beginning.
Which is actually the end of the previous
It's
movie.
the end of the
It finishes with Vin Diesel about to do 25 years to life at Lompoc or
Really?
whatever, and then the cars come into view.
So that's kind of like previously
and you think,
on.
Yeah, and you think, oh, if this was really cool, they would end it before they wouldn't do the rescue. They would end it before they did and they did. And so you just like at the end of the last one, you're like, oh, okay, it was a great beginning, great end. And it leaves it just where it should. So then the beginning of this one opens exactly where the last one left off, which I thought was
fantastic.
cool. Yeah,
and then
exactly.
literally just to watch them all, take the end credits off, just carry on watching it. Like, oh, I'm on like a 4 hour.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically there's a stunt with the bus. Don't want to say what the stunt with the bus is. But if you see that stunt and you go, oh, that's stupid, that never happened, you might as well leave the cinema right there and then, because basically you're not going to enjoy the next sort of 120 minutes.
Exactly.
But if you watch that and you go, oh, it's going to be like this, is it? Brilliant, then it's going to be the best film you've ever seen, pretty much. You know?
Basically.
Because it doesn't waste any time. Because even Taken, which I love Taken, that still takes about 40 minutes for him to get to Paris and sort of get a bit mental. Whereas this, and then what was great about it as well was the fact they're just so aware of like the thing they do. It's the fact not only do you have this brilliant stunt, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like a stunt with a bus. It's the fact that immediately afterwards there's a news report going, a daring escape, which amazingly calls no fatalities. It's just basically like, it's fine.
Well, that's
they're not
A-team
that
stuff,
bad.
isn't
They're
it?
not that
Yeah.
bad guys.
Yeah.
They sort of, destroyed, like nearly killed 25 people, but no one died, so
Yeah.
they're all right. It's like, and then just like move on. Like, brilliant.
Now, what they didn't do with the previous movies, in a way, I mean, there was a big hole in the second one where it was a big Vin Diesel shaped hole, basically, in the second one. And maybe what would have been a good idea in hindsight is to bring in somebody who was of an equal caliber. Now, in this one, they've got Vin Diesel, but they've brought in The Rock, which is like amazing, because you think, well, The Rock is trying to build sort of, has previously been building franchises of his own a bit. It hasn't really worked out too brilliantly, but he's still ostensibly the lead in movies.
Yeah.
So to bring him in a kind of Arnie as Mr. Freeze kind of way, where he's not the lead, he's not the star. But I just thought it was brilliant, because when you see it, you realise that, of course, he wants to do this. He gets to do amazing stuff and have a big fight with Vin Diesel,
But also, it's weird because there was this. I don't know about you, but I felt there was this sort of feeling in Hollywood that Vin Diesel stopped getting work because we now had The Rock.
Right.
We didn't need him.
Yeah.
We sort of it's like Vin Diesel, but he's funny.
Yeah.
And charming and sort of much more likable.
Because Vin Diesel did his kids movie as well, didn't he? He did the pacifier or whatever it was, and The Rock did the Tooth Fairy, and
there's something about when The Rock suddenly, like, everyone went, oh, we like The Rock, and then it was kind of like, there's sometimes actors where two actors seem to go for the same things all the time, kind of like
we like The Rock. He's like Vin Diesel, but with charisma.
And that's not, it's not to say that Vin Diesel's rubbish, but they just suddenly everyone went, oh, brilliant, like, well, we went with you, but now this guy's come along, I think we'll stick with him. So I was really weird to sort of go, oh no, they've put the two together in a movie. That must be really sort of must have been awkward, but it works really well.
It's actually called Alicia Silverstone syndrome.
Is it?
Yeah, it's when somebody came along who looked a bit like Alicia Silverstone but wasn't rubbish.
Yeah.
They got rid of it.
I mean, when all the dialogue-y stuff sort of is sort of meaningless, but you couldn't not have it.
No, exactly.
Like it's not, as I say, it's not like watching like the Star Wars prequels where you're sort of, oh, this love story's a bit boring. Get on with when's the lightsaber fighting? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like it wasn't like there's acting and story which held up. I don't mean that, but they just basically go, well, there's got to be a bit where we find out some back history. They've got to have people have got to have a chat about things. But it's done in such a way. They go, well, we've had a big accident. Everything's gone wrong. We're going to have a chat about how everyone feels about this.
That's right.
We know we have
who betrayed
to.
who and who may be working for the feds.
Look, we know we've got to have this scene. We'll just make it as painless as possible. It's not like anything. They've gone, oh. It's not, all those bits. They're not put in there because they don't know what they're doing. They put them in there because they know full well they have to have those bits in the film, and so they're kind of. It's done in such a way they do it completely straight, because you would have to go, I'm really sad about whoever it is that's dead, and I'm just, you know about this sort of thing, and this weird. Everyone gets on with everyone else because they appreciate everyone's pain and misery, and then all of a sudden, just like, just as soon as you go, what's this all about? There's a massive car chase and gunfight. You go, brilliant, don't care anymore. It's an amazing film. I think it's really great fun. But it's one of those things where, because it's out now, it's hard to sort of really go, no, trust me, this is genuinely like a classic, because it's hard when it's a contemporary film. But it's the sort of film, if you discovered it had been made in the 70s and you just found it on DVD and you watched exactly this same film, you'd be convinced it was the best film you'd ever seen, because you look back and you go, this is an amazing.
You'd call everybody you knew.
Yeah, oh my God, have you seen this? You've got to see this film. It's amazing. It's like unbelievable. Yeah. It's kind of unbelievable. It's sort of film you have to sort of see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And because it's a new film, it's hard to sort of really say, actually, this is an amazing
true,
movie.
You can't sort of contextualise it in your entire film
say
going.
20 years' time, you'll go, this is just like the first time I saw Battle Royale. And I went, oh my God, have you seen this? Like, that sort of thing.
But I think it will be like that to some people. I mean, particularly because because although it's ridiculously violent in places, and there's, there's all kinds of stunts that you shouldn't try at home, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a movie that young boys of all ages really can enjoy,
It'll be like,
and so it's. It's got the potential to be some kids. The first amazing movie they've ever seen. I mean, because they've got Transformers and science fiction stuff, but this is kind of in the real world, isn't it? It's ostensibly
but also,
in the real world.
it's like, because people will think, the problem is when you go to watch a film like this, even as you go before going, you think it's just gonna be like watching another Transformers movie. It's just gonna be not rubbish, because it's they've got money and the crew's obviously not gonna be talentless. So it's gonna be all right.
Yeah. And actually,
But actually, it's brilliant. You know, it really is better than all the other action movies.
maybe there's a freedom to this that you wouldn't get with a lot of other franchises where they know it's, you know, with Transformers they have to try and pretend that, it's all very serious and we have to take it very seriously because the world's, you know, it's an invasion or whatever.
Yeah.
But as you say, there was no fatalities on the bus. Nobody's going to get, you know, nobody's really going to get killed, or if they are, they're nobody that you really care about. You know, you've never met them before. They're just random henchmen and drug dealers henchmen.
But also, it's good because what was nice about it is, because obviously it's done very well, and there's no bits, but you wouldn't say like, I mean, I want to talk about the bits that are like not very good. That's just because of necessity of writing and story. There's no bits where you go, that's badly filmed, or
Right, no,
there's no badly
not.
filmed bits.
Right.
But what is interesting is that overall there are just some things. It's just some things are like brilliant, some bits are a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
But that's I like that, because that shows someone with passion and sort of enthusiasm rather than sort of clinical, methodical. You know, the sort of the way. You know, hope it isn't like, but you know the way that sort of Ridley Scott's films recently are a little bit boring because he's just got the best people in.
Yeah.
They're just doing everything about 7 out of 10.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's how good. Whereas this is kind of, why not? Let's just see if we can do this.
Yeah.
Let's drive a bank vault through the streets of Rio and see what happens if we use it like a massive sort of swing ball. Like, well, is that going to work? Why not? You know, it's kind of like, you get the feeling it's almost the way like Charlie Chaplin would go, can someone build me a train track so I can have a thing on a train? Oh, brilliant. Okay, let's do that. It's almost like this sort of, making it up.
And if you were going to do a thing on a train, why not shoot for doing the best thing that's ever been done on a train in a movie? And that felt like it's like, it was a little bit like Ocean's 11 when they were putting the team together to take down for the Rio heist of the subtitle. But then you thought, well, Ocean's 11, they didn't like drive around at high speed, and that seems now, in retrospect, to have been stupidly missing from the Ocean's 11 movies. No wonder the third one was so dull. They hadn't thought to put helicopters and scrambler bikes or whatever.
The Rock basically plays it like Schwarzenegger in Commando.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a completely stupid film, but that's my daughter they've taken. I'm going to get her back, and so it's kind of he plays like just
He's
basically.
Got to play it absolutely.
I jump, but he's totally self-aware that he's just playing it sort of almost like hard edge. Knowing that everyone else gets the laughs and the jokes. Yeah. So he's basically just got to be the really like badass, kind of the badass really. He just turns up.
Yeah.
Sort of
and he's got to be a badder ass than Vin Diesel, who's quite a badass in the film anyway.
So that works really well. You know,
I was trying to think of, and I may have drawn a complete blank, but I was trying to think. This is the fifth in a franchise. They're not renowned for their brilliance. You know, the fifth part, and the only two I could think of that were any good. And even then, it's maybe because I haven't seen it for a while, but was A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, which is all right.
It's better than Inception.
And better than Inception. Okay, that's another conversation we'll have. Right?
Dream within Dream stuff's much better.
Yeah, that's true. Now I definitely want to look at it again on the same night as I watch Inception again, and then and prove you right.
I'm being facetious.
And the other is no, you're not.
No,
you really are being true. And the other one is You Only Live Twice, which I know a lot of people they're down on that movie, but I really, really loved it. Maybe it's one of the first Bond movies I saw, but it's, so it is a franchise, Bond, and that is Bond number 5. I can't think of it. Can you think of another good number 5? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. But...
No, well, to be honest, there's not that many number 5s.
No, not many to make
and all of them
Freddie and Jason
usually they're all sort of straight to video. Like
the Halloween, there was a Halloween 5, wasn't there? But
that's not. I mean, that's not.
I think by then Vestron Video was sending them out on.
It means Halloween 5's not like rubbish and irredeemable.
No.
But you wouldn't go, if you go, do you want to watch a fifth one? Then give Halloween a go. It's better than that, or better that than Friday the 13th. And those sorts of things. But
so this, because I thought number 4 was like a do-over. It was like a number 1 again.
It's like Halloween age 20, isn't it? It's
you
kind of ignore everything that's happened before. And you just go, right, let's move on.
But actually, by the end of, and I don't want to spoil anything, but by the end of 5, and in fact by quite early on in 5, you realise that, hang on a second. For those that know, there is actually a canonical kind of purity to the series, which maybe it's because Justin Lin came back to direct it again, but they, even though Rob Cohen directed the first one, Justin Lin directed the last one, and I think he has found an expert way, and writer Chris Morgan as well, found an expert way to put all the pieces together and sort of make it run so that as you say, when you watch if you watch them all together in order, in whatever order you wanted, because I think the third one's out of chronology. I think it's set in the future or something like that. And then the fifth one kind of sets up the third one. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's actually they care.
Yeah, it's actually
that's the most
really
amazing
clever.
thing I take away, that you don't expect by the time a franchise gets to number 5, you don't expect people to care anymore.
Well, I suppose that's the thing. I think that's the thing. I think what it is, as you say, it's a far better film. I mean, it's a great film, but it's a far better film than Fast and the Furious deserves as a franchise. It doesn't deserve a film that good. That could be a first film.
Exactly, but now it does, because now you've shown what a Fast and the Furious movie can be. Top that.
Yeah, and because they should, by rights, you want us, because I would like to see Fast and the Furious 6.
Yeah.
But it seems ridiculous for there to be a 6th one, given that you're going, well, the first one told us who everyone is.
Yeah.
And then we could almost go straight to the 5th one. And in terms of that was great. I mean, I haven't seen the 2, 3, and 4, but it seems weird that there would be Fast and the Furious 6, because it seems like 6 Fast and the Furious films. But if they're going to be as good as the 5th one, then I'd happily have
as long as they keep on that.
We'd happily have 5, 6, and 7 as a serious trilogy.
Yeah.
And
Word, I mean, it's tricky because we both loved the A-Team, and word didn't get around in the States that it was good, But I think this one, people are going to come to this, aren't they?
I did see a thing today. I did see a thing today. I think Universal have. Apparently, there's rumours that they have been impressed with the pre-buzz,
the
and
tracking
they are
or whatever.
hoping to get a 6th one on the. But obviously, I don't know any more than that. But
well, we'll know after this weekend. I guess
I'd hope that they would, because but you go, but as long as they can make another one like this, because that's the problem, isn't it? Because
it is astonishing. I know that's a word that maybe we throw around all this hyperbole, but I was astonished. I was astounded, flabbergasted, and just stupendously entertained. I couldn't imagine anything more entertaining happening anywhere else in the world than at the moment I was watching that film. I was like, I don't care what's going on at the O2. I don't care what's going on at Madison Square Garden. Right now, what I'm doing is the most entertained you could be.
And what's amazing, there's a bit at the end of the credits, isn't there, which is worth sticking around for. There's a bit at the end of the credits. But what I thought was funny was, I'm not one of these people who sits through all the end credits.
Right.
But I only saw that because I just simply couldn't. The film finished, and I had to sit there sort of in stunned silence for about 2.5 minutes, going.
That's right. I couldn't get up. My legs weren't working for the first 2 minutes.
Oh dear! And then there's I wouldn't have seen it if I hadn't basically been bombarded by Fast and Furious 5.
So Fast and Furious 5, the movie that makes you need a bit of a lie down afterwards. I think that you could watch another one afterwards, but it did make me want to go back and watch the old ones again. Even the ones that I didn't think were very good at the time, like 2 and 3. I now think, Tyrese Gibson's in that one, and he's in the 5th one. He's really good in the 5th one. Ludacris is back in the
5th one's really good for that as well. I think the banter around all the characters, because there's they have the sort of the jive talking black guys, but it's not all
you sense the history even if you don't know the history.
Because I didn't know they were all in the other ones. And the other. But immediately, that's what was good, because what was nice was, because I didn't watch it, they sort of did the film assuming you know everything about the first four. But I didn't, and that was what was nice. Going, they haven't spent ages. Right. They don't go out when they just basically pick the team. They just go, we need someone who's good at guns. They go, him. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And it's basically that's
From the second one.
Yeah, that's basically. But because I don't know these people are, I just thought brilliant. They're just basically going, let's get them in. And it's basically in 30 seconds they pick their team when they're in Rio. And you're like, brilliant. I don't need 17 minutes of everyone doing one job to show how clever they are. I just because Ocean's 11 takes ages to sort of
to get the whole gang back together,
and you're like, can we just do the heist?
Just start with the heist. Yeah. How many cylinders is?
How much horsepower are you going to give?
Is Fast and Furious 5? I'm going to give it 29 out of 10 because I think that is the minimum that as required by the European Union that I'm allowed to give it. What about you?
Well, it was amazing. It's one. I mean, it's
off the chart of any other movie. Really.
It is sort of almost incomparable. It's the sort of thing that you go. It's like the driving experience of what it's like. What the trailer you see for Sucker Punch when it's supposed to be all bets are off and it's crazy. And you go, this will just be disappointing and sort of lame fantasy. But this is kind of like. It's almost like probably what you thought that was going to be for fantasy. This is what it is for driving, and I had no idea we could have this. So I've got to give it, seriously, at least 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But to be honest, in terms of fun, it's just unbelievably
it's
fun.
Unmissable. You have to see it. You can't go through life.
Definitely, definitely pushing it to the red.
Yeah. The red line
about cars.
Well, thanks very much, Richard Sandling, and hopefully Lance will be well and be back next time on Talking Pictures. See you soon.